From the Axe Lounge in the Danbury Ice Arena, this is Catching Up with McCreary. I'm Doug Lattuca with Hat-Trick's head coach Billy McCreary. Coach, how are things?
Things are going well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Last week we spoke about your lack of sleep with the new baby coming in. Did you get a little more sleep this week, especially getting 4 of 6 points over the weekend against Motor City?
It was definitely nice to get into the point column there, but yeah, starting to settle in here and getting used to the routine now. But yeah, obviously a lot of work again to do here this weekend.
Friday night, not the result you were hoping for. You did pick up a point in a loss in extra time. You ended up dressing on Saturday night in the win against the Rockers. How'd you feel about that one?
The win was great. I thought that the boys played really well. We were obviously short on D. I dressed because we weren't sure that Daniel Amesbury was even going to make the game. So that was kind of just to be there as a support staff if I could. And thankfully I didn't really have to do that. And the boys just really played a tremendous game. Shorthanded, did everything that we needed to do. We played hard. We played physical. We played Danbury hockey, and it was good to get those 3 points.
You mentioned that you guys were shorthanded on the back end. That was one of the main reasons why you dressed. Were there some other reasons why you decided to put the equipment back on, or was it just a numbers game at that point?
I would say more of a numbers game, but listen, I'm more than ready and willing to do anything in this game, and willing to do anything for this team. And love to see a little bit more toughness out there. And not that I certainly bring that, but I'm willing to do anything that I have to do. And it was great to get on the ice again. It was great to cross the ice in warm-ups and kind of get in other team's head a little bit. And games definitely changed, that's for sure. But it was a fun 60 minutes.
What was a little bit different about when you used to play, when you beat Danbury in a championship, and the other night?
Yeah, listen, I mean, it's a different day and age now. It's a less physical game. Like I joke about crossing the red line in warm-ups. If I did that when I was playing in the Southern Pro League, my ankle's broken and there's a line brawl in warm-ups, right? But it's just nobody's willing to do that anymore. And you certainly see that within the product. You see that in the 60 minutes. You see that even within other players. And I think it's unfortunate that our fans are able to get into the heads of other teams and other coaches and other players. But listen, like, this is pro hockey, and if you can't take section 102 booing you, you probably don't belong in the game. And I played in this league. I won a championship in this league. I won it here in Danbury. My bench was the same bench in front of 102. But we were a group of guys that played in the Southern Pro and the East Coast League at higher levels. We had higher standards, and we certainly didn't let those people affect us. We just had a job to do. And it's great being on this side of the fan base, but you kind of just look at it and shake your head at times. And it's a different game, and I'm probably better off coaching it.
Saturday was definitely a high-intensity game. You mentioned some of the fans getting to one Rockers player in particular, and some gestures inappropriate to the fan base as he skated off and all that. And that sort of occurred after the big Daniel Amesbury hit in the corner, and he's been suspended by the league for lots of games. The details are on the FPHL website. But what were some of your takeaways from the incident on the ice and sort of the outcome of it?
I mean, just a completely unfortunate incident. You never want to see anybody get hurt like that. And I know I don't know Danny Vander real well, but I know the game well, and our circles certainly intertwine. And he took a long time off for head injuries, and we hope that this is a speedy recovery for him, and nothing that sets him back away from the rink, because ultimately we all love to compete. We love to do what we do on the ice. But we're all human. Guys have families to go home to, other jobs to tend to. So, wish him the best. And obviously, just a horrible situation that I thought all the teams, all the players, the staff, I thought everybody did a really good job of making sure that, the entire arena showed, Mr. Vanderweel our support there, and making sure that he could get through what he had to get through. And You know, the game continued. Kudos to all the players out there and staff, and for everybody that helped, you know, Mr. Vanderweel after. You know, it was just it was a tough moment, but it was a moment where, you know, community comes together, and that's what the hockey community does.
Yeah, we wish Vanderweel the best in his recovery. As for Daniel Amesbury, you've dealt with his absence twice this season. You're going to do it for a third time. You mentioned your depleted back end, hoping some of the guys who are out, like a Gonzalez, Yao Abdella, they didn't play over the weekend, can come back eventually. How do you stabilize things on the back end? Are you going to have to dress again on another celebrity contract?
It won't be a celebrity contract. If it's anything, it'll be a contract. But no, it won't be me. I mean, the guys are starting to get healthy again. We should have X back here soon, and we got a couple other bodies probably back right around the corner. So, you know, we've been grinding through it here, and certainly we're going to have to continue to grind through that with Ames, you know, out of the lineup. But I also think it's, you know, it's a good message for our guys, and our guys are really going to tighten up around this. And, you know, for lack of better words, they're not too happy about it. And, you know, they're there to protect their teammates. They're there to stand up for their guy, and, you know, they're going to come out hard. They're going to come out with a little bit of jam. And, you know, that was kind of the message on me, you know, dressing last week, and message was certainly received, and hopefully we can continue to build upon that jam.
Yeah, and it seems like down 2-0, you guys were shorthanded. Captain Johnny Ruiz gets a big shorthanded goal, sort of ignites you guys, gets you going, you score another to tie the game, and then it's just a back and forth the rest of the way with you guys coming away with it. How important was that shorthanded goal? Again, your special teams coming through and the captain delivering in a big way.
Well, especially our PK too. Like, you know, all last year we were the most penalized team in the league, similar to this year. But last year we led the league in shorthanded goals. So, you know, you find a way to either, you know, take that bad call or take that call and turn that into a negative or turn that into a positive. And, you know, we have two choices to make there, and certainly Johnny made that choice for our team, and, you know, put his nose to the grindstone, scored a really good goal on Babin, and, you know, got the boys energized.
And you mentioned going up against Babin, who coming in had just been named the goalie of the month for October and November. So he was on a hot stretch. You guys scored a bunch of goals against him over the weekend. What did you learn from your team, specifically in that Saturday game, coming from behind, the emotions of that massive 15 to 20 minute stoppage, and you guys come away with a big 3 points when you needed it most?
I don't know if I learned much. It was good to see, because, you know, that room certainly believes that it's there, and as a staff we believe that it's there. You know, certainly not trying to make excuses, but our schedule has been probably the hardest schedule in the league to date. We've been fighting through massive amounts of, you know, injuries, call-ups, you know, everything that we've been going through, and the boys are still finding a way to win some really big, meaningful hockey games. And you know, so it was a good step in the right direction here, you know, last weekend, and now we have to make sure that, you know, Watertown coming into our building, that we don't take any steps back, and we continue to play that tough, physical brand of hockey, and, you know, get the points that we so desperately need.
And games with Watertown have been pretty wonky this year. You've had a couple that have been high scoring. The last one, a 2-1 win on the road. They come in winners of 4 straight. You guys have picked up points in 4. Have picked up 4 of the last 6 possible points in that weekend series against Motor City. What are you expecting in your one game of the weekend against the Wolves?
I mean, listen, they're coming in here and they're going to give us everything that they have. I don't think they have Leeson. You know, he's been called up, so unless he comes back tomorrow, they'll be without their leading scorer. So they're going to bring more energy. You know, they're going to have to, you know, produce by committee, if you will. So you can expect 3 lines working, 60 they're going to be grinding, and they've got good goaltending. So we've got to take care of what we have to take care of in our home ice and our energy. Our specialty teams has to be better than it was last weekend, and I think if we can outwork them 5-on-5 and our specialty teams can find their stride, I think it's going to be a really good night here in Danbury Saturday night.
If you look at the numbers for attendance this season, hat tricks are really pushing that number up and up over the last couple of years. And this season specifically, the numbers have been off the charts if you think about attendance for home games. And I know there was a stretch where the hat tricks only played 2 home games in November, so those games were pretty much prime time for the hat tricks. But those attendance numbers up. This is the end of a 3-game homestand. you got to get points at home, right? Those are the big games where you want to win, especially in the division.
Yeah, 100%. You got to take care of your home turf, and our crowds have been there. It's been amazing to see the support that they have, and we don't have the biggest building in the league, but I think if you were able to put together a ratio of bodies per seat, we've got the standing room only numbers that are up there, and it's amazing. So, continuing to build off our home ice advantage and continuing to put points on the board when we can at home and create that exciting atmosphere, have a good, tough building to play in, and keep bringing these fans back and, exposing them to the Federal Hockey League and everything that we bring to that league.
All right, we'll do a fill in the blank. The fans go home happy tomorrow night against the Watertown Wolves if the Danbury Hat-Tricks do.
I would say if they do their best at winning all of their fights.
All of their fights. Physical, puck battles, just everything.
All of it, yeah. I mean, let's get in on the forecheck. Let's back check. Let's be stronger than them on the back check. If the gloves come off, we know who's going to win those fights, and let's just win every fight that we have wherever it is, and let's be willing and ready.
Seems to be the message as of late. Last catching up with McCreary, it was muck things up in front. This time, win your battles. Hat-Tricks and Wolves Saturday night at the Danbury Arena. You can get your tickets at danburyhattricks.com.